with way more information than you would if you were starting cold in something else. Right? So franchise is an easier way to get started. It may not be the best way in the end, but it's an easier way to get started. But you still got to do all the things that you've got to do for a business plan anyway. So you've got to go through all the basic SWOT analysis, work out who your customers are, where they are, how do you look after them, how do you get them to come to you with preference to go to somebody else? You know? What is it that makes you uniquely different? And if you find that unique thing that you have that's different, how do you monopolise that? You know? So that's where you've got to concentrate your efforts on. So it could be that your position is one of your best things in the world. You know? It could be that your service, it could be your product. Hopefully it's all of those things, you know, because one of those on their own isn't going to survive. You can have the best position, but if you give the worst service, you're out of it. So you've got to know who your customer is, where they come from, and what they're looking for. Not necessarily what you're trying to sell, but what they're looking for. Right? So for us, it's pretty simple. They want food. Right? So how do we do that? You know, do we just pop it out the front there and say, you know, this is it? But if we don't do that, we bake fresh bread every day, we bake cookies every day. So when we were setting up our business plan way back in 10 years ago, the initial one, we got all this information from books that we had, and we looked at the business from outside by sitting in the street and having a look and seeing what it did and how it did it, and talked to a few of the people that came out of the store, so the customers that were coming from the store, and talked to a lot of people that were walking past it and not going in, you know, and trying to find out why they weren't going in and what, you know. And in most cases, just, to be fair, most of them just said they didn't really interest them in buying Subway. You know, they wanted a pie, or they wanted something else, or they're up to the delicatessen to buy cake and that sort of thing. So we were okay with that. So we knew what a lot of the customers didn't like. We knew a lot of customers that would go in there if things were different. So we found out what those things were, so that we knew some things that we needed to change. So we incorporated a lot of those things into our business plan, and thought that this was going to be really good because we could go and make these changes. So we put all that in there. We went and, with franchise, you have to do your business plan and send it off to the franchise headquarters, and they critique it. And of course, with any franchise, there's big brand issues. And so a lot of the things that you as an individual would want to do, entrepreneurial in a normal business in your own, without the franchise thing going, would probably be okay. But in some cases, with a franchise, your hands are tied. You can't do much. You know, there's some things you can do, there's some things that you can't. And a number of the things that we wanted to do, we weren't able to do, which was really hard. So we had to try and work out ways to try and incorporate as much of that as we possibly could within the set of guidelines that the franchise gave us. And so it wasn't easy. But you have things like car parking, which is, you know, if you're looking at Subway, for example, are we a destination? Are we drive to, walk to, you know? Do people phone their orders in? Do people, you know, how do they come to the store? You know? And so you've got to try and cater it as best you can for that. You've got no control over the car park, no control whatsoever. That's a council thing. The thing that you can control is how quickly you can make the sandwich and get the person through the counter and out the door. So we started off with our business plan, did the SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats, as everybody does. And you go through and you do all those and you think to yourself, yeah, I've nailed all this, and you've got it. And then you get inside the business and you find that some of those things that you thought were strengths are actually weaknesses. You know? So you've got to try and turn them around. You know? So good fresh food is definitely a strength, but if good fresh food isn't prepared and presented correctly, it's actually a weakness. So you've got to make sure that you get it absolutely 100% right, you know? so that when you as a customer come in and you have a look, you don't see onions that are trying to be carrots and carrots that are trying to be capsicums and things like that, you know, so that they're all in the right containers and they look nice and fresh, and they are nice and fresh, you know. So you've got to really keep on top of what you do. You've got to do it very well, because otherwise somebody down the road will do it better, and the customers will invariably walk with their feet and head off onto something else. So your business plan, from our point of view, became a very fluid document. It wasn't something that was locked. There was parts of it, the sort of, if you like, the headings were all tight, but the detail below the heading wasn't, because it had to change. We had to get some new stuff to get in there to make some changes, because the way we saw it initially from the outside looking in wasn't the way it was when you got on the inside looking in. So it's got to be a fluid document, and over the 10 years, I'd suggest that in some cases, some of the things that were in there have actually gone completely, and new things have come in. So we have things that happen now where we have online ordering, which we didn't have 10 years ago, so people can order now online. They can pay online. They can Uber, so they can buy it and get it delivered. So there's lots of things now that weren't there when we initially went into it. So they weren't even in the hey, look, this is what we could do. What are our opportunities? They weren't even anywhere close. So we now have a business that we've relocated from Elizabeth Street down to Willow Street, and we, rightly or wrongly, assumed, which is not a good thing to do, that the business plan we had for Elizabeth Street would probably just roll through and run out of Willow Street. We did a little bit of investigating down Willow Street to try and find the best place for us, down the bottom of town, while the farmers rebuilt up where they are. And there wasn't many opportunities, so you had to try and figure out which was the best opportunity out of the ones that were there. And we came up with the one we're at. And hindsight's a great thing. You just don't get it quite as early as you'd like to have it. And we could have probably gone somewhere else and done it just a wee bit better. But we are where we are, and we have to make the best of what we've got. So parking is a huge issue, absolute issue. So come 10 o'clock, car park's always full. 10 o'clock in the morning. In the weekends, they're always full with people down in the bars, and from Friday night, from 4 o'clock onwards. So our weekend trade is gone completely almost. It's just good that we have a really strong week trade during the week. So that's so it's quite different now to in the last 6 or 8 months compared to what it was when we first started. So we're having to have a look at how we can readjust things. So we're looking at all sorts of interesting things like opening hours, and cutting things back, and getting team numbers down, because your two biggest costs are going to be wages and your fixed rent costs and things like that. Are things you can't change. So wages is something. Wages you can change slightly by reducing the hours. But when you reduce hours, you reduce opportunity for people to shop. So that's a bit of a catch-22. How do you work out how many hours you're going to reduce and how many sales will you lose? So we're sucking it up at the moment and staying open and looking at what the sales are so that we can figure out what's acceptable. So if we're not doing enough sales to cover the wages in that hour, then maybe we can close. But we need to look at that over a period of time, not over just a couple of weeks. It has to be over a few months, so you can get a bit of a feel for it. And then the seasons change, and so then you've got to go, okay, well, is that the right decision? If it's if we made that decision now heading into the winter, it's probably not a bad decision, because it's going to get colder at night, darker, and people are not going to be around in the evening, so maybe shutting early isn't such a bad idea. But if we were coming into the summer, it's probably not such a good idea, because there's going to be more people around it. Do they need to go down to the waterfront and paddle their feet and all those sorts of things? So you've got to be always looking, at your business plan all the time, because that's what your business is about. What you put in there is what you're going to strive to achieve, and how you're going to do it. And it shouldn't be something that you do before you start your business and pop in a drawer and go, excellent, that's done, tick that box. You know, that's what drives your business. You know, that's what you set up. That was your business plan. That's how I'm going to do my business. Don't think that just because you wrote it down there today that you were going to do it that way. Doesn't mean to say that in a week or two that you might have to change it or tweak it a little bit. But you know, the backbone of it will be there for you. And then it's just the fine-tuning, lots and lots of little tiny things. And you need to go back and revisit it. Don't ever just put it in the drawer and say, yes, I've done it. Because if you do, one day you'll go back to it and go, shit, my business doesn't look anything like this. Not at all. And so if you keep tweaking it a bit, you'll see. And sometimes that foresight you had right at the beginning is probably something you've overlooked, during all that time. You go, why didn't I do that? So you should always go back and look at it. Because when you first went into it, your eyes were clean and you weren't clouded by anything. It was nice and simple. Whereas once you get inside, it becomes a lot more. There's a lot more things happening. So I think that pretty much covers most of the things that I can tell you about what we've done